Oh, Zachary Conan here, and today we're going to be talking about Taken from 2008. Got my ashtray, got this cigarette. At the end of this cigarette, I have to stop talking about the movie Taken. And it's off to the races. So Taken is an extremely mediocre action movie. People who correct you and say that Taken is technically a thriller simply don't want to admit that Taken is technically a pretty bad action movie. That said, there are three standout, legitimately good scenes. Scenes that range from merely okay to that was good. Kind of gets action junkies like myself in a really good feeling. And of course, that's the initial scene where Liam Neeson's daughter goes missing, and you get that, "I will find you. I have a particular set of skills. Good luck." Like, that's pretty brilliant. The other scene where he's interrogating his government-working informant and his wife, that's a really good scene as well. And the scene I really liked was when he finally found the man who said good luck on the telephone. That was actually a really well put together action scene. Now, those three scenes are good. They're not good enough to warrant two more sequels on top of this one. And the true problem with this film is that it feels like it was written... Well, first of all, it's one of those ex-husband as misunderstood and thankless hero revenge fantasies, right? It feels like it was written by a boomer who was crushed by alimony payments at some point in his life and is like, well, no one understands me. I'm the hero. I'm the silent hero. And all these people are so privileged that it's completely insane. Like, I don't care about any of these characters. These characters are living the best lives possible. Written by such a boomer. She's going off to secretly follow U2 on tour, and then they couldn't even afford a U2 song in the movie? Dude! What? This is so bad. Even Famke Janssen couldn't save it, and she has aged remarkably well. She is still completely gorgeous. Liam Neeson is an interesting cat, right? He has very kind eyes and a wonderful carnage about him. Very kind blue eyes, and when he gets into that mode, the only reason Taken works at all, especially in all those three scenes that I mentioned, the only reason that the film works is because Liam Neeson actually brings a decent amount of gravitas to it. Like I said, kind eyes and wonderful carnage. Now, the problem is, people seem to be puzzled by why he's in the last 10 or 12 years, more beefy, more action-oriented roles. And I think it's incredibly simple to figure out why that is and where this transition into the blockbuster happened. Taken, in particular, it reeks of the Gibster. This definitely feels like it was a Mel Gibson vehicle and concept. Think Payback, think Ransom. This, it just feels like a Mel Gibson movie. And in Mel Gibson's hands, this actually would have been, I think, a much better, much stronger film. Where Liam Neeson had kind eyes, Mel Gibson had these tragic blue eyes. And he was able to emit this natural pathos, this unspeakable emotionality in his action films, in films like Mad Max, in films like Ransom and Lethal Weapon. He was able to just emote so much just with a look. Taken is so obviously a Mel Gibson film that Mel Gibson didn't get the star in because he went a bit fucking batshit, that it's just really difficult for me to watch it because Liam Neeson does seem out of place. He is a decent actor. He's not the best actor. Something that Mel Gibson and Liam Neeson share is their complete inability to maintain an American accent for the entire course of a film. That wouldn't have changed. There would have been just as many breaks of accent that we saw here. Liam Neeson is interesting that he is okay. This film is also, it was that really bad late 2000s motifs of fear of the brown other, fear of the religious other, fear of other things. Their depiction of sex trafficking was kind of interesting. It wasn't like that bad. I understand why they did that, but it was I'm a person who is attracted to villains. I like a strong villain. There was no strong villain in this film, and I didn't even feel like Brian Mills, Liam Neeson's hero character, was very heroic at all. And there were scenes where they tried to make him seem like he was in danger, but he was just far too untouchable, and he was very unbelievable in the action scenes. I even tried to watch Taken 2, because, you know, I didn't mind that it was like basically a carbon copy. What I minded was, in Taken 2, it's like that Flight of the Conchords song, like too many dicks on the dance floor, only with Taken 2, it's too many cuts in the movie, too many cuts. I couldn't even tell what was going on in Taken 2, which makes Taken 1 a much better movie than Taken 2. But I think there are so many cuts because Liam Neeson is very bad, very, very bad at being this kind of action star. That's why if this was Taken starring Mel Gibson and Famke Janssen, it would have been pretty good. I think. It would have been pretty good. I wouldn't be sitting here telling you how much I loved it, but I would be sitting here telling you, you know what, it makes sense that people raved about this movie. That's another thing that didn't make sense. Because Taken, when it first came out, this is the first time I saw it. I just saw Taken. And when it first came out, they talked about it like people talk about John Wick today. People talk about Taken like nonstop. That I Will Find You, I have a particular set of skills, was memed out into the ether, into the popular zeitgeist. And I can't for the life of me figure out why this movie has any sort of following. Has any sort of following whatsoever. It is so bland. It is so mediocre. Liam Neeson is basically empty without his blue eyes. They try to make him seem like a hyper-obsessive, but that hyper-obsessiveness just adds to the misunderstood father revenge fantasy they're telling. It doesn't actually benefit the story to me on an emotional level or anything like that. Taken was simply a bad film. And I don't understand why so many people liked it, and why there were 2 more made on top of it. It's completely puzzling. Taken is a pretty bad action film, and I'm not trying to disparage those 3 whole scenes where I wasn't completely bored out of my mind and was slightly entertained, but in those 3 scenes, yeah, they were firing on quite a few cylinders, but Taken runs out of energy so fast. It feels like it's as old as its star is. It runs out of energy, it runs out of creative bullets extremely fast, which is a shame, because maybe you could have made like a really hardcore, like, surprising and gripping and emotional action film if that's really what you were wanting to do. Instead, I felt like the filmmakers intended to just massage the egos of deadbeat dads and ex-husbands, which is really the wrong way to do it. Mel Gibson. If this was a Mel Gibson film, and like, I love Mel Gibson. He went a bit batshit, of course, whatever. I love Mel Gibson. This would have been a phenomenal Mel Gibson movie. Instead, it's a completely generic 2008 action film starring Liam Neeson. And like I care about that. And oh man, looks like we are reaching the end of this cigarette here, which means I have to shut up. Because my videos are very long-winded, and that's why we're doing this whole cigarette is basically my timer. At the end of it, I gotta go boom. But I want to thank you guys for watching this video. What did you think of the film Taken? Did you think, were you as critical as I was? Or maybe the film didn't age properly. Maybe if I watched it in 2008, I would have been like, oh my god, this is the re-emergence, the renaissance of the new action genre. But I doubt it. What did you guys think of Taken? Also, what did you think of Taken 2? As I said, I had to stop watching it about 45 minutes into it. The cuts were nauseating and the story was dull. Didn't even watch Taken 3. I heard that's a neutered, kind of spade version of Taken, which I can't even imagine because Taken 1 is pretty tame in and of itself. What did you guys think of this film? Do you think that it deserved the amount of praise that it got? The amount of sequels and television show spin-offs that the show had? That the film had? Do you think that it deserved any of that? Because I'm really having a hard time. That's what's puzzling. What's puzzling is why so many people liked this movie and memed it out in the first place. Let me know what you guys think. I'm Zachary Conan. Thank you for watching my video.